Live streaming is on.
Okay. Well, I don't know if all of that got caught or not. I'm going to assume it did. So, once again, welcome to our Black Men Speak. I'm your host for tonight, JR Stewart. And tonight we're going to talk about the destruction of the black family. I'm going to keep talking about this until I get my people to understand that the destruction of the black family was not an accident. This was done on purpose, and it continues to be done on purpose. So let me break it down for you, give you a little historical facts so the present day context will make sense. The Party of the Black People, the Democratic Party, white liberal, socialist, progressive Democrats. This is the party of slavery. This is the party of the Confederate. This is the party of the KKK. And you don't have to believe me. I'm not making any of this up. It's all in the history books. Unfortunately, Chris Rock may have been correct when he said if you want to hide something from black people, put it in a book. That books are like kryptonite. And I know he was joking to some extent, but there's a great deal of truth. The truth is right in front of you. It's not being hidden. And yet, you're surprised. I'm always surprised at how many black folks do not know the history of this skank party that they call the Democratic Party, with their white liberal, socialist, progressive Democrats, party of the Confederate, party of the South, party of slavery, the pig law, the black codes, Jim Crow, separate but equal. In fact, we have kids who go to schools named after Woodrow Wilson, and he's the father of the progressive movement. And so, a couple of weeks ago, I'm at lunch with a potential client, black lady, and she mentioned to me that she was a progressive. And she said this as if I was supposed to be impressed. Because she knows that I'm a far right wing conservative Republican. And she wanted to distinguish herself. She said, well, I'm not just a Democrat, I'm a progressive. As if that is supposed to mean something. Let me tell you something about the skanky progressives. Go read up on them. Go Google them. The father of the progressive movement, Woodrow Wilson. In fact, the black kids at Princeton, where he taught, are protesting. They don't want to go to classes or live in dorms with his name on it. And he's a god on the Princeton campus. So I'm glad they're standing up, that a few of them are woke and realizing that he is not a hero to black people. He's certainly not a hero to America. He set race relations back at least 70 years. He and his brother. But I'm going to continue to move forward because I have those silly folks who will say, "Well, Jimmy, that was in the past. Why are you drudging up the past? That was the past." Okay. Well, this is the same Democratic Party with the white liberal, socialist, progressive Democrats who destroyed your school system. When black schools actually did a very good job at educating black kids, oh, but they couldn't have that. So they infiltrated the schools. Now they're all in the schools. I mean, every tentacle, every aspect of it. And they destroyed it from the inside out. They didn't just stop there. When black men were highly employed, they had to side with the unions to take jobs away from black men because they wanted to destroy the black family. They wanted to destroy black people and punish them for siding with Republicans. Now, this is at a time when black people still voted Republican. Let's continue to move on through history. Not only did they destroy the black schools, destroy the black educational system, then they moved to destroy the black family. We call that the war on poverty. Back when, before 1960, I believe 90 to 95% of black kids stayed in a home, believe it or not, were in a home where there was a mother and a father. Almost 90 to 95%. This is unheard of what we see today. But the white liberal, socialist, progressive Democrat can't have that. Oh, of course not. We have to do something about that. They decided to have a war on poverty. They stepped in and they destroyed the black family on purpose, not by accident. In addition to that, see, people need to go back and read what happened during the 60s. They hired tens of thousands of social workers who who had the right, if you were on public assistance, they can enter your home at will. Just knock on the door and you better answer it because they had the power to take away your your social benefits. And the mandate was you couldn't have a man at that time in your house. Hmm. You couldn't have a man. It didn't just stop there. They had to make sure that it wasn't just a man. If you were involved with a man and you were having quote unquote relations, or as young people say today, what do they call it? Smashing. Yeah, if you were a woman with kids receiving public assistance, and you had a man in your life that you were smashing or having relations with, the state could go after him for the care of your kids, even though they were not his kids. They could make him responsible for your kids. How in the world? And if you don't believe me, I think there's a famous case called King versus Alabama that went to the Supreme Court. Um, you should read that case. Go look it up. It's a very interesting case that goes into details about the practices of the social system back then and their social workers, agents who went out and spied on women, mostly black, who had received any kind of public assistance. And so they made sure they turned the black woman against the black man. They made sure that you couldn't give them any reason whatsoever to come together and get married and start a family together if she had kids. And so the destruction of the family, with the destruction of the education system, with the destruction of the economic system, because one of these days we're going to talk about Rosewood and Black Wall Street and what they did to those locations. Continue to go forward into the modern era into our era of today. I got to tongue tied a little bit. And this is the same white liberal, socialist, progressive Democrat in their institutions that do everything possible to make black women feel bad about themselves. There's a reason why we deal with low self-image in the black community. Why? Because we follow and listen to white liberal, socialist, progressive Democrats. They control the media, they control Hollywood, they control the magazines, especially in fashion. They control everything that you hear and see, and they use it to their advantage. They use it to destroy the psyche of the black woman and to keep the black man down. They want you to aspire to be a gangster and a pimp and an OG and this and that. Because those are the images that they parade on the channels that you watch, the magazines that you read, and the books that you read, or the music that you hear. When you listen to rappers who want to do something positive, see, there are no more BDPs, no more Boogie Down Production, no more KRS-One, no more Public Enemy, no more Grandmaster Flash with White Lies or The Message or anything positive. I mean, that's gone. Those songs are gone. No more You Have to Learn, one of my favorite rap songs, Boogie Down Production. But you won't find that today. What you find today is I have bling, I got hoes, I got bitches, I got money, I got this, I got that. I hate the police, fuck the police, I'm shooting the police. This is all you get from the music industry today. Stuff to poison your mind, to make you want to be a badass, to be a gangster, to be an OG. And then, of course, the women. Let's talk about the women. Now, the mothers have done a good job with trying to motivate their women, young girls who are coming up, to be independent. They listen to the feminists who tell them that marriage is slavery and that you need to make sure that you're not dependent on a man for anything. You need to go to school, get an education, get a job, and have your own. Well, that has worked. Unfortunately, that same message didn't apply to young boys. So half the black males now are dropping out of high school, not even finishing high school. How in the world are we supposed to have strong black families? Now, listen to this. You have on black campuses, you have more young ladies on campus than young men, probably about 2 to 1 easily. And some of these black men don't graduate. But let's say they all do. You're still gonna have twice as many women coming out of college as black men. And of those black men who are coming out of college, a good chunk of them are gay. They're keeping it on the DL, but they're still gay. There's a reason why AIDS is still the number one killer of black women in certain cities, especially Atlanta, on the East Coast. And that's true. And so, women, what do women have to choose from? Hmm. A DL brother, wannabe gangster brother, a brother that's out here pimping that want to live off women, want her to go out and work and take care of her. Mama's boys. Um, Certainly, they don't. A woman who's graduated college and has a professional career don't want to settle down with some guy who didn't even finish high school, and that's half your male pool right there. And of course, I listen to people like Chris Rock joke that says, black men will get with any chunky white woman, um, and but black women are really not that attracted to white men. So as a result, they hold out for any piece of shit black man they can get their hands on. Um, so there's not a whole lot to choose from. That's unfortunate. We need to do something about this. Part of what we need to do, and that was my little dog Charlie, a very cute dog. Um, Part of what we need to do to change this is first we need to identify, be willing to identify and name our enemy. I'm amazed at how many Dr. Johnsons out there, power to the people, always preaching pro-black, and I hear black folks who think that he's really saying something. Oh, well, Jimmy, you got to go out there and listen to him. Oh, well, Jimmy, have you heard him? Okay, so finally I took the bait. I already knew that he really wasn't about shit. We wasn't be talking about nothing. But I went out and found an interview of him on the Breakfast Club. It was a good interview. He had a chance to say what he had to say. I didn't agree with any of it, but here's the pattern of fake preachers, like him and Dyson and a bunch of others. In fact, I'm gonna come out with my idiot savant list one of these days, and I assure you, Dr. Johnson, you are on my idiot savant list. You're part of the top 10. You and Eric Dyson, Lamont Hill, a bunch of others, idiots out there who preach this propaganda. So they tell you a little truth. They'll say, "Oh, white folks did this to black folks, and white folks did that to black folks." Not white folks. See, it's too easy to say to cast a blanket over all white people. Way too easy. Because why? Because we know deep down all the white people are not evil. No, all the white people didn't participate in the horrors, in the crimes committed against black people. Who were the white people who were responsible? Easy to identify. White, liberal, socialist, progressive Democrats. And they're still at it. With all of the studies that they do, all of the talk, you don't think they realize that they are destroying the self image of black people? Of course they do. Will they stop? No. Have no desire to stop. They're going to keep it up. In fact, they figure this out so well that they're going to expand the program to poor white people, to Hispanic people. Oh yeah, they're doing their best to expand it out. But here's what they discovered about black people. All of the dirt that has been committed on black people, everything they've done, all they have to do is turn around and say, those Republicans are racist, and then black people will vote for you. That's it. That is, you know what? That is remarkable. They feared that at some point, black people were going to turn on them and do to them what they've done to us. Oh no, that hadn't happened. There's no Malcolm X out there but saying by any chance, by any means necessary. What you have is a lot of ignorant black people. See, Lyndon Baines Johnson hit on this when he ran against Goldwater. And he decided to turn Goldwater into a racist. And it worked. He ran commercials accusing Goldwater of racism. And remarkably, black people voted for him. Lots of black people voted for him. And so now, what do you get? You get racism today, you get racism tomorrow. Racism, racism, racism. Baltimore, I watched an interview, and I'm going to go out and dig this clip up, and we're going to share and talk about this next week because it's very important. The black mayor of Baltimore was touring the black area of Baltimore. I guess it's the South Side. There was trash everywhere. You would think for a national photo op, they would have the sanitational department would have come through and picked up all the trash off the street. Man, there was trash piled 3 and 4 feet high. Abandoned buildings with trash all in them. The mayor couldn't even breathe. She said for the stench of rotten animals, rats, human feces, dirt, trash. She had a hard time breathing as she's walking down the street. Now I ask you, what do the kids breathe there? What do other black people breathe every single day on those same streets? Miss Mayor, you have a black mayor, you have a black city council, you have Elijah Cummings, a black congressman with rank and seniority. What in the you tell me you can't pick the trash up off the streets? I'll be willing to bet. I'll be willing to bet. I bet $1,000 right now to anyone who can find me those same conditions in the predominantly white neighborhoods of Baltimore. I know you have them. Baltimore not all black. I know there's some white people who live there. And there are some nice pockets of Baltimore. And I'll be willing to bet they don't have trash 3 and 4 feet high on their streets, rotting out buildings, rats that are just running around. They say they have millions of rats in Baltimore. Not all of Baltimore, the black area of Baltimore. Trash everywhere, stench, dead. And the mayor couldn't even breathe when she walked down there. But yet, they allow black people, black kids, to live in those conditions. Obama gave Baltimore a few years ago $1 billion as a grant. Hey man, fix your city. Here's some money. Fix it up. What happened to the money? Well, the money went to improving the white areas of town, the white infrastructure, the white systems. That's where it went. I think they have one little community center. They said, well, we spent $70 million, 72, 78, somewhere around there, on this one building, one little community center. Out of $1 billion, this is all you have is one community center in the black area. Black kids in Baltimore who go to school can't even take their books home. Isn't that something? Oh, well, JR, we don't have enough books for everyone, and we can't afford to lose any. What are kids supposed to study? How do they do homework when they go home? Well, they can't. And here's another stat. There was, I think the last measurement I saw was for last year. And there wasn't one black kid who could pass all three parts, math, English, and science, of the proficiency test. Not one. Or as they say down in Bontown, my old area, now one could pass it. Not one. And so you wonder why it's hard for black people to struggle. Why we struggle every generation, starting over. Because our kids are not being properly educated, and some of them know that. A lot of the black boys who drop out of school know that this is BS. And I know it's BS because black boys start off performing the best in kindergarten. Oh yeah, they're at the top of the charts. They're outperforming everyone. And then by sixth grade, they're the worst students in school. What happens between kindergarten and sixth grade for that transformation to happen? What happens is teachers with low expectation for black boys. And that's proven in their classroom, in the performance in their classroom. So once again, they destroy your self-image, destroy your families, they give your kids a poor education, destroy the schools, destroy the family structure, destroy the relationship between black men and black women. And they still contribute to that. They know this. I'm not telling you anything that the white liberal, socialist, progressive Democrat does not know. They're going to continue to use this to their advantage. Why? Because the more destruction they cause in the black family, black community, the more you vote for them. And I know this mystifies Republicans. It mystifies white Republicans. Hell, there are some liberal white Democrats who are mystified by it also. And even though they don't quite understand it, they're going to continue to reap destruction on your life, make it hard for you, and turn around and blame Republicans because all they have to say is those folks over there are racist and you're going to vote for them. It's been proven over and over and over again. So why wouldn't they keep it up? They have no reason whatsoever to to not keep it up. Really, they have no incentive, no reason whatsoever. So people say, well, no, who was I here? This was I can't think of his name from Princeton or Yale, one of those Ivy League schools. I think he teaches Cornell West. Cornell West was giving an interview. Him and PBS guy Tavis Smiley with Sean Hannity a few years ago. And so Sean Hannity is pointing out all the skanky things that the Democratic Party has heaped on black people. And Tavis Smiley had a little sense because he acknowledged it. He knew that this was the truth. And he acknowledged that the Democratic Party has some ground to make up with black people. But then he turned around and with his idiot savant, more idiot and stupidity than savant. I mean, I hate to group them with the savants because I have a great deal of admiration and respect for savants. But these people are pretty smart. I can't take that away from them. But they're idiots. And they're sellouts. And they're cowards. They know the truth. But yet they keep black people ignorant of the truth. They won't dare speak it. Why? Because they know they're slave master. You look at Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley tried to tiptoe a little bit and admit that maybe, just maybe, that all Republicans are not bad. And that maybe, just maybe, the Democratic Party has done a few things towards black people. And where is Tavis Smiley today? He's lost his show. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not around that much. Every now and then I hear him on the radio. I think he's trying to write a couple of books. But I wish he's doing well, and I wish that he would take this as a sign that, man, it's okay to go ahead and tell the truth. It really is. Dr. Johnson, since you preaching power to the people and calling Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier sellouts because they have white wives, and somehow they are turning their back on black women by marrying white women. And so you don't care what other work they've done to advance civil rights. All that's negated because they marry white women. But you know what, Dr. Johnson? You are such a coward. You're an effing coward because you will sit there and do the same thing. Oh, white people this, white people that, white people. Okay, it's not white people who've done all these things. Let's be honest. Let's call out your slave master. White, liberal, socialist, progressive, Democrats. Those are the ones who have done so much destruction and damage to black people and continue to do it. They continue to do it, have no desire to stop because all they really want from you is your vote. And you're going to give it to them. They're going to keep the destruction, the crime, the filthiness in your cities. They're going to continue to miseducate and undereducate your kids. They're going to continue to separate black men and black women to keep you from coming together. They're going to continue to do this because this leads to a certain desperation, a certain degree of poverty, misery. They want all that for black people. Why? Because then they can say, I'm the answer. I can fix this. Vote for me. Because those white Republicans over there who are racist are the reason that you're in these conditions. And you know what? I'm amazed at how black people who are just now few of them are starting to wake up. So Candace Owens and her Brexit movement, I support her 100%. The girl is a messiah. Oh, but Jimmy, she married a white guy. Who cares? You know, that she found some love. I'm proud for you. I'm happy for you. More power to you. But she is a messenger from God. And I hope her voice continues to resonate with black people and to students. Girl, keep up the good work. Um, my other friends there, Diamond and Silk, great job. Continue to keep up the work. And I can't think of the brother who started the walk away movement, basically the walk away from the Democratic Party. I apologize. I will make this up. I'll make sure to give you a shout out on my next episode. But I kind of forget your name. But I support all these movements, plus some. Anybody who's learning the truth, and the truth is not that hard to find. Go use Google. Okay, Google, for something other than to find out what Jay Z and Beyonce ate for lunch last week. Use Siri, use Alexa for something other than nonsense. Who you vote for is important. And the reason why black people continue to catch hell, we continue to vote for the same skank party that's causing all the hell in our life. But we've been brainwashed because all they say is racism, and then you overlook everything they've done. Everything. You don't hold them to account for nothing. And then, like in Baltimore, white mayor, Democrat, black mayor, Democrat, city council, councilman, attorney general, it doesn't matter. The one thing they have in common, they're all Democrats. People say, well, JR, it doesn't matter. We vote for the black politician, we vote for the white politician, and things stay the same. Of course they stay the same. You're voting for the left hand and the right hand on the same body. They're both Democrats. The Democrats have no desire to fix your life. They'll tell you they will. They talk a good game, but they're not. So I'm almost running out of time. So I'm going to wrap this up. I challenge everyone who gets a chance to watch this video, please wake up. Please go out and do some research. There's a law it's called the Anti-KKK Act of 1871, put in a law by Republicans, signed by President Grant. It's all Republican. And it was three laws. It was the Anti-KKK Act of 1871, and there was 1, 2, and 3. And these laws were used to wipe out the KKK. And the Republicans had almost eradicated. People don't know this, but go study the history. Republicans had almost eradicated the KKK, almost put them out of business. And who brought them back to life and promise and gave them a voice? If you don't know, here's spoiler alert, Woodrow Wilson, the father of the progressive movement. So you can see when a couple of weeks ago, when this lady tells me, yeah, Jimmy, I'm a progressive Democrat. I don't understand why you're a Republican. Because I had other people around and money's on the line. I'm trying to do business here. I have to conduct myself a certain way. So I said, hey, we can, if you want to know, let's talk about this offline sometime, just one-on-one. And give me 30 minutes. And then after that, you can then have the answer to why I'm a Republican. But I wanted to tell her, you ignorant MF. I don't curse. I really I don't. But I would have cursed this time. There's certain exceptions to the rule. There's certain people who are so asinine. I'm a Democrat. I'm a progressive Democrat. Like it's supposed to mean something. Progressive are all about making progress. They are not. They're about wrecking your life. If you don't believe me, when Trump gives speeches to Congress, his State of the Nation, when he states that his proudest accomplishment since he's been in office, and go back and listen to it if you don't believe me, because he's given two, I believe, and both times made the same statement, that his proudest accomplishment of all the things he's done was seeing the black unemployment rate reach all-time lows. And it continues to drop. More and more black people are going to work. And the white liberal socialist progressive Democrat and their stupid minion black politicians who follow them, sycophants, want to reverse everything Trump has done. Tax businesses out of existence. And when they start laying people off, let me tell you how it goes, because we've seen this many, many times. Black people first, women next, and then they start dipping into white men. The Asians probably never get laid off. They're probably the last. But blacks and women are first, which is why during Obama, blacks and women were the most affected. They're the most hurt. Stagnant wages. How do we go 8 years under Obama and wages are stagnant? You know what that means? I mean, I know they don't explain this to you on CNN and MSNBC. That means for 8 years, on average, Americans got no pay raises, nothing. And with inflation, you actually lost spending power. But now, whose incomes are rising faster than any other groups? The lower income folks. And that's something to be proud of. You deserve a raise. You deserve a good job. And Republicans are doing everything possible to make that happen. Democrats don't want you working, don't want you paying your own bills, don't want you independent of the government. You can take care of yourself. You don't have a need for government. They're not going to allow that to happen. They're going to do everything in their power to get you back on welfare. 8 million people in 2 years have gotten off the welfare rolls under Trump. So these people are working, taking care of themselves. They're not starving. Under Obama, it was just the opposite. He wasn't getting people off welfare. I think he added 8 or 9 million people, 10 million people to the welfare rolls in 8 years while he was in office. One president getting people off of welfare, getting them working because they have a good economy and jobs. Another president claims he cares about black people, love black people. Love black people the way black people love chicken, fried chicken, not baked. But the reality is, Obama's an ideologue. He loves the Democratic Party and making sure he carry out their mandate more than he loves black people. Don't give a damn about black people. Black people are just a means to an end. So now that he's gotten his money and gotten his, is he out advocating work for black people? Oh, no. No. He's out there trying to figure out how to turn Michigan and Wisconsin and Ohio back to Democrat states. He want to flip them. He has an organization he's pouring money into and fundraising. Dude, you live near large metropolitan cities where black people are catching hell. Baltimore, they can't pick the trash up off the street, the stench in the air. And instead of going and helping pick the trash up, organizing something to help people, oh no, you try to help the party out. Make sure Democrats take control yet again. That's where his focus is. Don't give a damn about black people, never did. So anyway, I'm over my time. I will be back next week with Tommy Duncan. And we may continue to talk about Baltimore. I'm going to see if I can find the clip of the mayor who could not breathe the air and the stench that was in the air down in Baltimore. This is an embarrassment. She should have taken that moment and declared, if I don't do nothing else. Oh, but she did do something else. She got indicted for fraud. Well, at least she was trying to steal money for herself, rather than stealing for white people. But yes, I think she ended up getting indicted for fraud. She may be out of office now. The last 3 or 4 mayors have all been indicted, kicked out of office, forced to resign, because the people there steal money, they put in their pocket. They don't use the money to clean up the city and take care of the citizens. They don't. And the black people there have just gotten so used to it, so used to the stench. I'd be willing to bet they don't even realize that there is stench. You smelled it for so long, you've gotten used to it. Hey, that's just what the air is supposed to smell. Until you go somewhere where there is no stench, and you probably think that fresh air smells funny to you. So anyway, until next time, I'm JR Stewart, one of the hosts for Black Men Speak, and my co-host or partner in crime will be back next week. On the health report, hey, working on losing weight. I've lost a few more pounds. It's going to be a slow process, but I'm getting there. I promise you that. So anyway, until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.